Hello, all you lovely listeners. It's Ryan. And before today's show, I want to give a quick shout out to another content creator. You can find him on Twitter at JDTV22. He's also making excellent content over on YouTube. He's putting out several videos a week. Most of them revolve around FIFA and F1 right now, but he's got a huge series on Battlefield 1 that'll be coming out soon. He's a great guy, new to content creation, and just like us, he's got a small community that he wants to build. So if you get some free time, make sure you check out his content. Again, his channel is JDTV, and you can follow him on Twitter at JDTV22. Make sure you tell him that Gamestitch sent you. All his information, including his Twitter link and his link to his YouTube channel, will be in the show notes for this very episode. Now sit back and enjoy the show. Gamestitch Podcast. Here we go. Welcome to episode 197 of the official Gamestitch Podcast. I'm Ryan Walton. As always, I'm joined by Dan Reamer.
Hello, hello. Good to be here.
We've got an empty seat this week.
Oh, Matt.
Matt has started the move, the cross-country move. 4 hours away from where he's at now.
Yeah, I don't think cross-country is quite the term you're looking for.
Technically, I feel like anytime you move, you're cross-country.
I have to disagree because I've moved cross-country, so.
I mean, he's crossing part of the country.
Yeah, but it's within the same state, so I feel like it doesn't matter. Maybe I could go with a cross-state move.
That doesn't sound as extreme, though.
No, it doesn't, but
we've got a big cross-state move coming up.
I'm not all about fabrications to make myself look cooler.
But you know Matt is.
Okay, so Matt would enjoy the cross. He's not cross-country. I don't care.
Yeah, it's a cross-country move.
You know how I am, too. I don't give a shit how he feels about it.
They got their knapsacks full. They're jumping on the train. They're just going.
Yeah, they got their sticks with their bandanas rolled up on the end.
Yeah. That's the only way I travel.
They're hoboing it.
Only way I travel. And you're carrying a chicken. You don't explain why, but you got one.
Looking for the signs.
Obviously, it's for
marks.
eggs. Yeah. Does that still exist?
I don't know. I don't think so. I feel like trains don't ever slow down like they used to anymore.
Hobos were like a real thing, though.
Oh yeah, back in the 20s, 30s, 40s.
Like they had like a real place in America.
Yeah, no doubt.
I like that.
I would
like a hobo.
Yeah, it would have been cool to be a hobo, I think.
You seem like you would be a good fit for a hobo. Like I could totally see that. That being like a lifestyle you enjoy.
Yeah.
Just like town to town, doesn't really matter. You got everything you need on you.
Yep.
Meeting new people, just doing things.
Just moving, just constantly moving. Pick up a job just enough to get a little bit of money. Move on to the next town.
What kind of odd jobs you got? Just trying to make some cash.
Right. Paint your fence. Mow your yard.
Hobo Simulator.
Mm-hmm.
You'd play that.
I'd play the shit out of that.
The Hobo Sim.
I don't like simulation games, but I'd play the shit out of Hobo Simulator.
Was that third person, first person?
Yeah, I would probably play it in first person just to live the aspect of that life.
Yeah, I get you. You want to be the hobo. That's probably how it makes the most sense.
The first person, probably. I think a lot of simulators probably make more sense that way. At least anything that puts you in the place of what's being simulated. Farming simulator, you obviously need tractors and cows and stuff, so you kind of have to have a different view. I don't know that you could do that from first person.
So that game is first person when you're out of the tractors.
But the rest of the time, right.
You can switch to first person, but it's fucking impossible to see what I'm trying to do.
Right.
Like I don't, the combine's pretty big. I need to be able to see where I'm at in the field. And
I get that.
Also, I'm not a fan of VR. Maybe that's changing a little bit, or not VR, first person, but that's changing a little bit with VR. But I still don't like it out of VR.
Okay.
Because I don't feel like I'm that person. I don't feel like I'm actually farming because I'm sitting on my couch and I can see everything. So I don't like first person like that. But I do think it's obviously necessary for VR, and we'll talk about that probably a lot.
Probably. That's about all we got going on this last week.
Yeah, we both spent a lot of time with different, obviously way different things this week. Why don't you go first and talk about Tomb Raider?
Mine's simple. I picked up Rise of the Tomb Raider 20th anniversary collection on Tuesday, and that's about all I've been playing in the day since. I played, I think, an hour and a half of Rocket League, but other than that, it's been all Tomb Raider all the time. I really enjoy it. I really enjoyed the first one. I like this one better. I think a lot of that has to do with the characterization of Lara Croft. While I enjoyed the first game, she did come across very much as a victim. And in this one, she does not. She comes across as still a woman who's trying to find herself and find her calling, and but is much more confident and sure of herself, and that victim card doesn't get played, which I think is incredibly important for the franchise, especially if you're going to get her where we know she goes. But I'm probably a little more than halfway through it right now. I've been playing a lot. I've probably got, I've probably got close to 14 hours in, and I'm a little over halfway through. So if that tells you, I'm taking my time to go around and do the exploring because I enjoy that in those games. The tombs are fantastically designed. They do require some thinking, but they are not virtually impossible. And I never felt like, every time I was in a tube, I was like, you know what? I can do this. And I would continue until I finished the tomb. I never just quit. And I was like, fuck this tomb. Fuck this. Which in some of them, that can happen. I also haven't used, Google or any walkthroughs or anything like that, which is really out of sorts for me. Because
but I think that's the right way to play that game. That game, the exploring and the figuring out felt good in that, and I didn't feel like anything was so tough that I couldn't figure it out.
Right. It never felt impossible. It just felt like, okay, it does require a little bit of thinking, which I like. It's also important to note, I did say I've been playing for 14 hours, but it's important to tack on the addendum that part of that was one of the DLC, single-player DLC packages, the Baba Yaga. So as far as just the game, it's probably 2 hours less, so 12 hours without that DLC. So
yeah, because I think when I completed that finally, I was at 21 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And the back half definitely goes faster than the front half. Especially like the last couple chapters, I felt like were pretty quick.
Okay.
And I'm all about the exploring, but those last couple chapters, you're so close to the end, the conclusion,
that you just go.
I was like, fuck it. I'll come back. That's one of the few things I did Google to make sure is that when I finished the game, I could keep playing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to be done at that point like some games do.
I knew that, I'm sure you can.
Yeah, you can. But once I knew that, those last, especially the last chapter, I kind of ran through it. I wanted to know what happened. And I wasn't worried about checking every corner. And I've since been back, working on the 100% of all those areas. But yeah, that game did a really good job making me really want to know what happens.
And yeah, to comment to that, I was going to say that. It gives me just enough information that I want to keep going, but I guess it just gives me just the right amount of information. I want to keep pushing through. I want to find out what happens. It's not, the story is compelling, which is incredibly important for these types of games. Same thing with Uncharted. I know we disagree a little bit. We've talked about this. You think this isn't quite up to par with Uncharted. I feel like I enjoy this more.
Yeah, so for me, Uncharted is incredibly polished, but it does a great job of not ever feeling scripted to me, or very rarely feeling scripted. Obviously, it does occasionally, but Tomb Raider always felt like I was moving from point to point. You know, they give you these open areas to give you that sense of freedom, but in between that, it all felt very scripted to me. Mm-hmm. But I mean, you can't knock either. You can't knock either one of these games.
No, you can't knock either one of them, and it's pretty much going to just come down to personal preference. You are much more of a sandbox guy than I am, so that perception of open world would be more appealing to you than me.
Yeah, you know, I think there is actually more of an open world in Tomb Raider. Yeah. But I think it does it's the same, you know, do these tasks. It doesn't feel like a truly open world. And then the spots in between, like I said, they feel scripted. But, you know, when I was driving that Jeep around in Uncharted, I really felt like I could go anywhere, even though I couldn't.
Right.
Like, it really gave me that sense of openness. And, you know, I think they've been doing it longer. You know, I think, you know, so you're on the fourth Uncharted and the second, you know, reboot of Tomb Raider.
Right.
I think the jump from 1 to 2 for Rise of Tomb Raider was a bigger jump than Uncharted 1 to 2.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
And I think if they stay on pace, you know, these games can compete, and I think they can exist because they're not the same thing. They're way different.
They are way different. You are absolutely right. And that's really important because they could come across as very similar games, and they do. I mean, you can look at them and see that they're similar, but they are so different that it's I mean, I think it's really a testament to Crystal Dynamics, Square Enix, and those that they're able to do that with something that's been done, that's been doing it longer, and that is a renowned franchise.
Yeah, I think it's easy to hear them both described and think they're the same kind of game. But if you spend any amount of time with either one of them, they don't feel the same. They're not doing the same thing. Like they're really, really different.
Yeah.
You know, there's the gunplay. I wasn't a gun guy, you know.
Right.
And most of what I played, I used the bow.
I like using the bow too.
Yeah, it makes me feel like a badass.
But I do like using on the armored enemies. I have the shotgun with the dragon fire attachment.
Yeah.
Which is exploding shotgun shells, and that will save your ass more than you know.
Yeah, I mean, I used it a lot. There's you know, oddly enough, I hate stealth, but I did try to do a lot of stealth takedowns just because it makes life easier.
Well, they're really cool. The animations are really, really cool.
They are. And she is a badass from start to finish.
Yep. She's done learning herself or those kinds of things.
But they take some cues, I think, from Uncharted where she's not a superhero.
Right.
Like she feels human the whole time, which is what Nate Drake did so good from the beginning. He always felt like just every guy, just a dude. Every man's man, yeah. And I think she does a great job of that same thing. Like, she falls and she gets hurt, and she's, you know, not as, like you said, she did give that victim vibe off a little bit in the first one with how injured she was. And
other things she was allowing to happen to her in a certain sense. Whereas in this one, she doesn't, she takes control of the situations.
And she just fucking wills herself to the end of this game, and it feels good.
Yep.
I really, really liked it. I mean, I'm glad you're getting to play it because I didn't have anybody to talk about it with, because I mean, when I was at the time, like, that game was
a year ago.
Really like all I thought about. Yeah, it's like I just wanted to come home and play it, and I wanted to know where the story was going. And
that's how I am, and I've never been that. Even the first one, I wasn't. The last one, I wasn't. I mean, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like I got to go home and play it. This one, my spare time, I want to spend playing this game.
Yeah, Rocket League messed me up a little bit with this, so I took a long break before I actually finished. I played all the way to the second to last chapter, or third, maybe 3 away. And when I finally went back, that's when I kind of breezed through it to finish the story, and then I went back and spent real time going back and collecting everything.
Right. Where I'm doing a lot of the collecting now, so I don't have to do as much in the end.
I did a lot up front, but those last chapters, I'm telling you, I just wanted to hear that story. I wanted to see it play out.
I mean, there is so much to collect in this game. I mean, there's so much, you call it busy work, whatever you want to call it, but there's so much of it if you want to do it in this game.
Yeah, if you're a person that loves to check boxes, this game is for you. And if you're someone who doesn't, then you don't have to do any of that shit.
Yep.
Which is pretty awesome, too. The tombs are fun, like you said. Like, you're going to want to do those no matter what kind of person you are. But the other stuff, the collecting, you can just not mess with it.
Nope.
And it doesn't change that game at all.
I, of course, collect everything. I shoot as many animals as I can. I'll tell you what. You know what I did the other day? Actually, it was last night when I first started playing because I wasn't sleepy or tired yet. But I went into a cave. There was a bear in there.
Mm-hmm.
Beat that motherfucker down hand to hand.
So I don't think I've never taken one down hand to hand. But the first bear that you fight in the game,
yep,
they give a really good sense of power and strength.
Yeah.
But it's funny because towards the end of that game, when I rolled in a cave and there was a bear, I'm like, come on, motherfucker.
Right.
But that first one, you're like, I don't think I can kill this.
Yeah, you're
like,
absolutely right.
I'm not certain I can kill this, but by the end, because you understand how they work and you're obviously more powerful and you understand how you work.
Yep.
Yeah. When I see a bear, I was like, come on.
I didn't use my bow or anything. I just continued to dodge, and then you just keep sticking arrows in its neck until it finally dies.
Is there a trophy for achievement for that? Trophy?
Maybe it's a hidden one. No, it didn't pop.
Okay. That should be there should be a trophy for that because it's pretty badass.
Kill a bear hand to hand.
Yeah, I've never done that for sure. So
I'll tell you what.
I have hit them with an arrow with the hand, but I've never killed them that way.
Okay, I killed it that way, but it takes a lot of arrows. I mean, I don't suggest doing it that way. But I just did it because I wanted to see if I could do it.
Yeah, I don't suggest ever trying to kill a bear. But if you're going to do it, I say do it from a distance, probably with a gun.
But yeah, because after I got to about 7 or 8, I was like, what if I'm just keep sticking arrows in this thing and it never dies?
Right, because you don't know.
But yeah, I just did it to see if I could do it.
Yeah, that game is super super realistic with that kind of stuff. Like, it's not easy to kill a bear ever.
No.
But you do definitely build up a confidence that makes it seem easier.
That seems like, I got this. And that smacks you across the room.
I'll tell you what, there's an exotic tiger, I think, at one point. Scared the shit out of me in that game.
Yeah.
Because it only comes out in tall grass, and I never could see it. But you could hear it, and every time I turn around, it would be like lunging towards me.
Yeah.
And it was easy. It was easy to kill from where I was at because I was able to get
high ground
advantage. Yeah, high ground advantage on him. But man, it scared me every time it came out because it wouldn't come out when I was on the rock. I had to get down for it to come out, and when I would get down, it would tell you an exotic animal nearby. But that little bastard would come flying up behind me and scare the shit out of me. Hit me once, I'd jump up, and I would be able to, do a little damage with the bow. I mean, I did almost everything with the bow.
I love the bow.
Yeah, the bow was awesome. I used the gun in situations I felt like I wasn't going to get out of.
Yeah, like I use the gun, like if I run into a cave and there's like 5 wolves.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all AK.
Yeah, well, that's a situation you're probably not going to walk out of if it's not. So that's how I used it too. Like whenever something shit got shady, I felt like there was no other option. But if it was my choice, especially when you walk into a new area and you can see like 20 dudes laying around or standing around, like I would pick those off one by one, headshots with the bow. It's silent. It feels good. It feels real good.
It does feel
when you tap
good.
A guy right in the eye socket with a bow. It feels real good. And his buddies are all like, "Oh, what the fuck happened?"
I just got the perk where you can see their hearts.
Yeah.
See animals' hearts. So I'm looking forward to using that.
Yeah, I just shoot everything in the face. So I know its brain's back there somewhere. So I just assume it works that way. But humans especially, I like shooting in the head with a bow.
I do too. No, I love Molotov in them.
I wasn't very good with those ever.
No? Oh, I'm brilliant with them.
No, I wasn't very good with those. What I like to do was throw them towards their feet and alert them that I was there.
Oh.
So that I then had to panic and try to figure out what to do.
Not me. I sit there and I wait till they're close enough to each other, right in the middle of them, boom. And I feel like, believe it or not, you know why that is? Because explosives and stuff and those kinds of things with grenades from the Division, I think, is from playing that so much that it really gave me that that sense of distance and where it needs to be in order to accumulate the most damage.
I just don't have the patience. Like, I can't wait for it. I understand I'm probably going to miss, but I can't wait. Like, I'm ready to go. Because I just, stealth's not for me. So when I try to do it, like, it needs to be on my terms. And me trying to wait just was not working for me. But yeah, that game is incredible. And if you're one of the PS4 owners, that's wondering, you played Uncharted, do you need to play this? You do. They're not the same thing, and you'll love it. And if you're an Xbox person that for some reason hasn't played it, you should.
Yep, I completely agree with that.
Unless you just don't like adventure games, I think this game has got something for everybody. Unless you just don't like third-person adventures. Other than that, I can't see how you wouldn't enjoy this.
I know I enjoy it. As a matter of fact, I want to go play it right now. I'm done. I'm out.
Yeah. Square and Crystal Dynamics did an awesome job. I want to grab this. Most of the credit should go to Crystal Dynamics, really.
Yeah.
Especially because of the uncertainty with the last game and what it went through, and they really put out a fucking gem of a game this time.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope coming out on Xbox a year early didn't screw them over too much, because they put out a fantastic game.
But what I can tell you, I don't know if it's a good sign or a bad sign, but no one on my friends list is playing it.
Yeah, you're the only one on my friends list that's playing it too. And that's unfortunate because it's a really good game. But same thing, you're the only person since it launched that's playing it on my friends list.
That's all. I haven't seen any of my friends play it either. Of course, most of my friends play Destiny.
Right.
Or they're playing Overwatch.
Anything else to add with Tomb Raider?
Nope, get it. If you like those kinds of games, go get it. This is probably one of the better ones out there. You will not be disappointed.
And the 20th anniversary, it comes with everything. All the DLC is included with that.
All the DLC.
So you should. I totally agree. Pick it up. Unless you're just not into action games, pick that up because you'll enjoy it. I've also been playing things that I am the only person on my friends list playing.
That's true.
I got my VR in. I was actually lucky enough to get it early, so mine came out. I got mine 3 days before it actually launched. That's good and bad. It's bad because there's only really 2 things you could play. It's good though because those were the demo disc and VR Worlds, which give you pretty much everything to at least try out. So the VR itself, it feels really good. Like it feels well made. The design is good. It feels light, but not so light that it feels cheap. Like it doesn't feel plasticky, even though it is. Like it feels right. I fog up really bad in there. I don't know if my face is extra hot.
You're a fucking sweaty pig, that's why.
Or if it's designed. Yeah, but here's what I don't understand. It has to be... So the thing gets hot. I've read multiple things that your face gets hot in there. But I'm a mouth breather, so there's no way it's fog coming up from me exhaling from my nose.
It's because you're creating such a tight seal on your fat head that when you sweat, it turns into condensation.
But you got to create a tight seal to keep the light out.
I know, but it creates that condensation in there is what happens.
So the cool thing about the way it's designed is the goggle part, actually, you push one button and it slides out. So when you fog up, you click the button, you slide it out. You wait maybe 2 seconds, it totally clears up, and you pop it right back, and you're good for another 40 minutes.
Okay, so this is a problem that's been anticipated.
I think so. And like I said, it's very quick, and it doesn't happen often, but it happens like every fucking time. So like it is only every like 30 to 40 minutes, but every fucking 30 to 40 minutes. But I'll also say that you probably shouldn't be in VR for hours at a time.
No, I don't think it's designed for that.
Like after being in it for hours at a time, I think you probably shouldn't be. I think an hour here, an hour there, I think makes a lot of sense. You start to get a little weird after you're in there for a long time, or at least I did.
You get out and feel like you're still in it?
Yeah, you're a little fucked up when you get out.
Yeah, I can see that. Because your brain has to reprogram itself to real life.
Right, so I was listening to a podcast where a guy said like he was, he played it for like 4 or 5 hours and then went to the store and he went to pick something up and he picked it up like all fucked up. As if you would pick it up like you were in VR. Like it does start to mess with your brain when you function that way for a certain amount of time. And I the hardware I think is well worth the $400 that it cost. I don't think you have to go get it right now. But I think the value is 100% in the product that they shipped.
Okay, well, what about the games?
So the games are launch games.
Okay. Just enough to make sure the hardware works?
Yeah, let's start with VR Worlds. I actually really like VR Worlds. Part of it. VR Worlds is London Heist, Ocean Descent, VR Luge, Danger Ball, and Scavenger's Odyssey. London Heist is the one that you saw a whole lot in the preview coverage. It's the one where you're shooting and you're riding in the car and you're loading the gun.
Yep.
Putting a magazine into a pistol feels really cool. But that game is a tech demo. Everything on VR Worlds, with the exception of Scavenger's Odyssey, feels like a tech demo.
Okay.
But it's also a $40 game. You know, they're not charging you $60 for it. So London Heist is it feels okay. It's like a short movie, and it's very typical London gangsta. I mean, it's okay. I don't care for the shooting as much as I cared for loading the gun. Seemed to be my favorite thing to do. Putting a new magazine in there over and over, it just feels good. The click right when you push them together, like, it just feels right. The 3D audio is really good. Like, it does a good job making you feel. What it does is you feel the up and down more so. So when someone's shooting at you from above, like, you hear it coming from above.
Okay.
Which is what VR really needs. Like, you need to be able to tell where it is in that space because they're not popping up arrows of where you need to look.
Right.
So it helps keep you pulled in there. Most games don't have HUDs. You know, they do you're out of bullets because you pull it and it clicks.
Okay. Like real
so
life.
everything does a really good job of not pulling you out of that experience. So London Heist I thought was okay. Ocean Descent is my favorite fucking thing for VR.
Well, I'm sure.
But it very much appeals to me. I want to go down in a shark cage for real. I'm very fascinated with the ocean, and it's a little long for something. If you just had somebody come over, it's probably the one that makes the most sense to show off. But it's almost a little long for that.
Okay.
Because the full experience is probably around 15 minutes. And a lot of it is just setting you up for the end.
Okay.
And it's letting you get used to VR. It also can't move very fast because if you move fast, it fucks your brain up. So it has to move you at a rate where you wouldn't feel movement probably.
Okay.
Which is very slow. So you're being lowered down in a cage and it has to be slow. So much of that is the setup to get you to where you need to be for the final kind of. It's experience. It's not a game. You don't do anything but stand there. But it's fucking cool. The first time a fish swims like in the bars, you feel like you could touch it. And I didn't think I'd feel that way. But you can lean from any direction and see all the way around it, and it's like it's right there. And it really is like it's right there. And the control panel, like, you feel like you can just reach out and touch it. You don't even have hands or a body in that game, but you feel like you can touch it.
Okay.
You're not holding any controllers. You literally just stand there in that game, and you can turn all the way around, and you can look up or down or all around you. I mean, you're fairly helpless, like you would be in a real cage.
Right. Not a whole lot you can do.
Right. But that thing it shows off VR really, really well, and it almost doesn't have the screen door effect at all.
Okay.
Which is, something we've talked about in the past, but you get that grainy look with VR sometimes. Mm-hmm. And it almost doesn't have it at all.
Well, that's good.
And you're in a vibrant ocean. I mean, it was awesome. VR Luge was my least favorite of this collection.
Is that just going down a luge downhill?
Yeah, going down basically a highway with cars. You're dodging them. So the body and the board are there, and your head pops right in where their body would connect to their head, as if you're looking up.
Okay.
So even though you're standing or sitting, it does a good job of making you feel like that's your body.
Okay.
This one played best sitting down. Ocean Descent, I like standing up. London Heist, I played standing up. That game could probably be played sitting down, but I played it standing up. But Luge has the screen door effect the worst, in my opinion. Out of anything I played, it probably looks the worst.
That's okay.
And it's because you're moving so fast, I think. I mean, you're going really, really fast.
Right. As you would if you were on a luge.
You can roll under a tractor trailer, which is kind of cool.
Yeah? And can you look up and actually see the underneath of the... Oh,
yeah.
That's cool. That's fucking cool.
But you're fucking rolling, so, like, it's so quick. The other thing is, like cars and stuff, when you hit those, you don't crash. You just turn red as a time penalty. So it just...
That takes you out of it a little bit, because
it does.
That's not even close to reality.
Right, you should die. The one thing that was neat in that game is when you go over a hill really fast, you actually go airborne, and it gave me butterflies.
Yeah.
Which is cool because it's possible. Like, it's possible that you can get those from a game. And you're just barely coming off the ground, but I will say when you come off the ground, my stomach feels it. Like, I felt as if I was off the ground. And that I thought was pretty fucking cool.
That is cool.
Danger Ball is good. Danger Ball might be the most cohesive thing on VR Worlds. It is like Pong, but you play with your face. So your face moves the paddle. And it feels really good. It plays really good. Again, screen door effect is almost non-existent in that game. That thing is fun, and you can play it over and over and over. It's really good. I mean, it is the evolution of Pong, basically.
Okay.
I really enjoyed that. And then the last one is Scavenger's Odyssey. That's more or less a full game. You're like a space treasure hunter going from like platform to platform. They do a good job controlling the motion issues in that game and the way you jump and stuff. And not to go into that too much because I think that's probably the fullest experience there. But that's a lot of fun. I like that.
Now tell me the games you have for the games you have for it, the actual launch games.
So I've got Job Simulator.
Okay.
We'll start there. I fucking adore Job Simulator.
That's right up your alley.
It is. So Job Simulator is out on Oculus. It's out on Vive. It has the success of being one of the more well done, more well-rounded games for VR. It's not particularly like
good.
Deep. What's good? It's not deep.
Okay. It's
very simple, but it does really well with the way everything works. Opening and closing stuff, picking stuff up, it works fucking great. And that game is just awesome. Like, there's something about doing the things you've always wanted to do, but you don't want to go to prison.
Right.
You know, there's something special
but
about that.
You need your job.
Right. And so the idea behind Job Simulator is everything is run by robots, and you're basically a human kind of showing how things used to be done. So everything is, there's a lot of humor there. There's a lot of just silly stuff it has you do, like buying stuff out of a vending machine is like a novel idea. And paper money and things like that. And it's just fun. I mean, you could just pick up a stapler and throw it all the way across your office into somebody else's cubicle and hear them yell at you. Things like that never get old, ever. But it takes it over to the top. Like, there's a copy machine in your office. You can put anything in it. You put a banana in it, hit a button, another banana comes out. So it's silly like that at the same time. Your company's losing money, so your boss tells you need to. That challenge is called Cooking the Books. So you actually have to put a disk in your computer, fire up the program. You go to your actually profits, and you change the number to where you're making money. Then you close the the program out and give him a book that's called Cooking the Books, and it's on fire. You give that to him to read so he understands how to keep the profit up. Your keyboard only has 1 and a 0 on it. It's just 2 buttons. So you just smack 1 and 0 over and over. It's really self-aware and it's goofy. The second one I did is a kitchen where you're actually making stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing looks cartoony, but it's fucking incredible to crack an egg and watch it fry up and then move it to a piece of toast and then fry up some bacon. Like, it's just good. And you can do crazy shit. Like, I took you got to get rid of. There's a health inspector's on his way, and you have to get rid of some old food.
Yeah.
So I threw it in a blender, poured it in a cup, and I drank it. I mean, that's how you get rid of stuff. So then you throw up everywhere,
right?
Because you just had bad food, and you make sandwiches, and you can just make any kind of things. Like you make soup by putting shit. But it's just so self-aware. Like, you put a bunch of ingredients in a pot, you get it hot, and then when it boils, the steam comes up, and when it stops, there's a can of soup inside of the pan. Instead of actual soup. Like, it's really goofy like that. There's 5 levels. It's $30, but that's the one I think is the easiest to put somebody else in there if someone comes over your house. Ocean Descent was probably a much more well polished experience, but to really feel VR, like, that's a good game to get in, because you feel like you're in a kitchen, and they do a great job solving the locomotion issue. You don't move in that game,
right?
So you can turn all the way around, but you don't walk. So you have a pantry, but you pull a lever down, and the pantry backs into the wall, and then a refrigerator slides out in place of it. That way you don't have to. They can work with a limited space, right?
Right.
And they do a really good job. Same thing. You sink, you turn a lever, and a microwave pops up. You turn it again, a blender pops up. You turn it again, a toaster pops up. So, and there's a garage level. There's a I forget the other two. There's a total of 5. But I really like Job Simulator a lot. In total, I probably have spent the most time with Job Simulator.
Very cool. What's next?
I picked up Drive Club VR.
Okay. What's your thoughts on that?
So Drive Club it's very much Drive Club. The negatives, it doesn't move your club over from playing the actual game. It's not an expansion. It is a separate game.
Okay.
So not only does your club not move over, your club is not discoverable. You have to start a new club. Your friends' times don't show up because it's all VR stuff. So it is a brand new game. I thought that was a negative. I don't know anyone else with VR, so I can't get anybody in my club to start earning points. But the gameplay is very good. There's something jarring about, for me personally, I haven't had any motion sickness yet.
Okay.
But there is something jarring about in the car looking left and right and then trying to focus my eyes back center.
Okay.
That my brain does not like, and I don't know what it is. This game, the screen door effect is very, very prominent in this game. Not as bad as the Luge, but it's very much there.
Right.
And my eyes had a very hard time adjusting to anything else other than what was right in front of me. So when I look right, everything else kind of goes a little blurry, and your eyes automatically do this. So I almost feel like, I don't know if it was just it happened or if they put it in there because your eyes normally do that, but your eyes are still doing that.
Right.
So like the game making it blurry plus your eyes making it blurry is almost too much. And there's something going from looking out my window at a guy that's driving beside me to looking forwards that makes my brain does not like it.
Okay.
So when I do drive, I've using the mirrors is awesome. Like a driving game where you actually use your mirrors is cool. Like instead of looking out the window, which I have a hard time with, I can check my mirrors, and that's fucking cool. I see a guy coming up on my right side, I'm able to move my car to the right side to block him. See him dive low, I can jump in front of him. That stuff was awesome. And I think Drive Club is one that would be, if I had a wheel, that would probably feel like I was driving a car.
Okay.
Because at any given point, you can just look down and you can just see the whole inside of that car, and you can look back and see the back seats, and it's cool. Like you really feel like, cockpit stuff is what makes the most sense in VR.
Right.
Because you're not supposed to be moving, and it's just it's a natural fit.
It's the closest to the real world.
Yeah, it's a natural fit. So if you were in an actual setup where you had the wheel and maybe even like a racing seat and pedals, that game would be fucking on point. I think it's a good example of where driving VR will go, but I don't think it's
quite there yet.
I don't think it's not there.
Okay.
Like that's not the answer to your ultimate driving VR game.
Okay.
But if you like driving, I don't think you'll be disappointed if you pick it up.
Okay. What else did you get?
The last one that I bought was Batman VR. I haven't played it yet.
You haven't played it?
No, so that's a 1-hour experience. So when I put it on, I want to go start to finish.
Okay.
So I haven't played it at all. And then free that you can download are the Playroom VR, which I've had a lot of fun with. Playroom VR is the thing that lets you play against other people, VR versus the non-VR person.
Right.
Or you can play some of them solo. I'll tell you what it does really well is for playing these games you get coins. And then you take these coins and you put them in basically a crane machine.
Mm-hmm.
You line that up and you drop your claw, and whatever you get out of the little bubbles, you like unlock into this little miniature like town that you have. And I'm all about that. Like
yes,
that stuff
that's right
is cool.
Up your alley.
Because once the town's there, like you don't place it automatically places it. But when it's there, you can like lean down and watch the little bots like doing things, and it feels like you're watching fucking tiny bots doing things. Like that's the thing. You never feel like you're looking at a screen. You always feel like you're looking at an actual thing. And so when you lean down and there's little ones playing arcade and playing air hockey, like you feel like they're fucking playing air hockey in arcades, even though they're just, more or less it's just a screen.
Right.
And that part is cool. Like the wanting to unlock everything there is really neat, and it's free. You should get VR. You should get Playroom VR if you have VR. No excuses, because it doesn't cost you anything, and it's well done.
Okay, so then.
And then they have the demo disc.
Nope. Yep, the demo disc. Sorry.
So this is So Riggs was the only game I pre-ordered for VR. The demo disc, which I played, of course, before all the games came out, is the reason I didn't pick up Riggs.
I
didn't like Riggs very much. It's getting okay praise. I don't know if the problem was the demo, but I didn't care for it at all, really.
What else was on it?
I played Eve Valkyrie.
Okay.
Eve is good.
It's not really you.
It's $60. You know, it's probably me for $30. It's definitely not me for $60. I thought Eve has the most polish out of anything I played, but I didn't have fun with it.
Okay.
Like, the demo is short, but I never was like, oh, yeah. Like, it's fine.
Okay.
But definitely not something I had the most fun with. Headmaster's cool. You basically, the idea is you stand still and you basically, you're doing different over-the-top, like, soccer heading moves type deals. They launch at you and you have to hit targets, or I think it gets super crazy. You're like some sort of like prisoner trying to work your way out or something, and the story's goofy. They try really hard with comedy, which I didn't think hits very good. But the actual hitting it with your head feels really good. It feels nice. And that game looked really good too. Res Infinite was fucking awesome, but it's just more Res. If you don't like Res, you're not going to like that.
You're not going to like it.
Res is also playable outside of VR.
Right.
But inside of VR feels like what I would imagine the purest of acid trips feel like. But if you like Res, you know, and you have VR, that's a no-brainer. And Tumble VR was pretty cool too. It's like a stacking game, but you pick up the blocks. It feels really good to move them, and you just stack them on top of each other.
Okay.
There's also a couple other modes where you're moving light around. There's another one where you actually destroy the tower. But yeah, just the stacking in general feels really good. That game does a really good job with your spatial awareness and, you know, moving stuff forwards and backwards and stacking it just how you want. And they made rotation simple. You just flick your hand and it rotates in it versus, you know, you trying to actually turn your hand goofy and upside down. And I thought that worked really well too. And the good thing about the VR stuff is that most of it is reasonably priced.
Right.
I mean, there are only two $60 games for VR right now.
And that's Eve, and what's the other one?
The Battlezone.
Yes, Battlezone VR.
Which is the tank one.
Yeah.
So, you know, I do think you should try VR before you buy it if you know someone who has it or if there's still a store doing it. Locomotion is like an issue with people. Motion sickness is a thing that can very much happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you're prone to motion sickness, then this is probably not going to be for you. I'm not. You know, very few things have ever given me the feeling of motion sickness, and there are things my brain definitely doesn't like, though.
Right.
Which tells me that's probably where people get sick. Because there is something in my brain that's like, whoa.
Something's off.
So in Playroom VR, there's this one, it's like Ghostbusters, where you go in a house, you can't see the ghost, but everyone else in the room can see them, and they have to tell you where they are.
Okay.
And then you shoot it, and then you pull them into your gun. But when that thing starts, it moves you, it walks you into the house,
mm-hmm.
and when you're standing still and something moves you, it's not okay. And I'm sure that's where people just immediately throw up if you're motion sickness, you know, if you're prone to it. Because you're standing still and you know you're standing still, so when you're walking, you're like, nope, I'm not doing that right now.
Right. Your brain knows your feet aren't moving.
Right. And I think that fucks you up a little bit.
I can see that.
You know, Riggs, when it starts, it brings you up in an elevator. Well, when that elevator stops moving and you don't, again, your brain feels very wrong right then, because you know that elevators make an actual movement when they stop.
Right.
You feel it. And you don't get to feel it here, and I think that's where they have to be careful. You know, solving that issue is, you know, Batman does it by teleporting around. A lot of games do it by just, you know, you more or less you move. It moves you in and out of the scenes itself, or you know, some stuff lets you use a dual shock. But I think using the controller totally breaks it.
Probably. If
you play a game with a controller, you no longer feel like you're in VR. You know, they try to do a good job by bringing the controller in the frame itself, where you can look down and see it. You know, Eve does a good job by, you know, the actual spaceship you're in. You know, what he's using looks like a dual shock, even though it's not. So his hands are in the position your hands would be in, and
right.
You know, they try to do a good job keeping you in there, but that controller really pulls you out.
So overall impressions,
the
entire experience as a whole. If
you spend $400, I don't think you'll be disappointed. I also, if you wait and buy it 6 months from now, I don't think you'll be disappointed.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to go down in price very quickly at all, because I think it's a very quality product. I think Sony totally believes in it. And I think they're okay to believe in it, because I think it works. You know, my expectations were low going in, and it totally exceeded those. Okay. Like 100%. The only VR I'd ever done in the past was not a Gear VR, but similar to a Gear VR, a phone VR, which was cool, but you know, it didn't pull me out the way this does. You do have to mess with the camera a lot. Okay. Every game, you have to get it set up the right distance, the right lighting. If you have a mirror behind you, you've got to figure that out. It'll fuck the camera up. If you have a really bright light on somewhere behind it, it'll fuck it up. You know, lighting is okay, but a direct where it can see the bulb will mess things up. You know, it's tracking you based off lighting, so if something floods that light out or makes a reflection, it messes things up.
Right.
And then certain games want you to be 3 feet away, and then 5 feet away, and then 6 feet away. Some want you to be standing, some want you to be sitting. You really have to pay attention to what that game wants you to do, and you have to take the time to get that camera right. There's still some drifting. The camera drifts off a lot. You have to reset it. They did a really good thing by making it easy to reset. You just hold the options button. It takes 2 seconds, and it resets you. So if for some reason the camera drifts off, which is, I mean, it happens in every game you play, but not often.
Okay.
But, you know, if I'm playing something for 30 minutes, at least once I'm going to have to reset it.
Gotcha.
But again, it takes 2 seconds. The only thing is, if you're playing with move controllers, you have to feel around, find your dual shock, hit the options button, because there's not an options button on the on those, because they're made for PS3.
Gotcha.
So you can move out to the menu and reset there, but I don't like to leave the game. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think if you're interested in it and you want it, you're not going to be disappointed if you buy it. I don't think there's anything wrong with waiting, but I don't think you're waiting for a price drop. I think you're just waiting for more games to be available.
Now, is there anything wrong? Is there anything that you have been experienced with so far that, like, someone who's not interested in it, you say, well, play this. This will sell you on it.
I think all of it.
Well, and like for me, I'm someone who, you know, I've played the Gear VR. I've had played a little bit on an HTC Vive, played a little bit on an Oculus, and I just feel like it's not for me. It's just going to change my opinion.
No, I mean, if you feel like you had what was a media experience with a Vive or an Oculus, I don't think so. Okay. It's very much on par with Oculus, I think. You know, Vive looks slightly better. I know CNET gave PSVR 7.9, and they gave, I think, 8.2 to Vive. So I mean, they're very, very close, and for the price difference, I think PSVR is the way to go. I mean, I guess VR could not be for everyone, but there's something special about it. And I think if you have to play it in the right setting, though. You know, I played it in a totally dark room with no noises, with no sound, with my sound cranked all the way up. No bleed for light, no nothing. So what I saw and what I felt and what I heard was all that was there.
Right.
And, you know, Ocean Descent is, even if you don't like the ocean, like, you feel like you're fucking there in a really good way. You know, some of the other games, you know, I think they do a good job. You know, Battle Ball does a good job showing you how games work. You know, Drive Club shows you what driving could be. But yeah, if you spend any amount of time in VR, yeah, I would say play Job Simulator. That would be like, if you came over, that's the one I would have you play. And you might not like VR, but I would challenge that you wouldn't have fun playing that. I don't believe that you wouldn't have fun playing that.
Okay.
It's dumb and it feels good. You know, your boss gets caught cooking the books and you have to destroy stuff, so they bring a wood chipper over to you. And just grabbing shit out of your cubicle and tossing it in a wood chipper feels really good. Like, and that's what that game does. Everything you do feels really good. Even though it's cartoony and you know it's not you, like, it feels really good. You know, some stuff is really cool when you look down and see your body, and your body is, you know, the actual, like, fighter pilot.
Right.
You know, you're sitting down, they're sitting down, you look down, your legs, their legs look like your legs. So I feel like it does a good job bringing you in there, but I mean, I guess VR it wouldn't be for some people. But I hate first person, and I really enjoy VR. Like, I totally get it. I think not embracing it is fighting where a future that is going to include VR. You know, Oculus just announced, you know, There's Santa Cruz unit, which is a standalone unit. It doesn't need to be hooked to anything. Obviously the Gear VR runs off your phone. This would run off of a small computer in the back, and it uses the inside-out tracking, which means it doesn't need sensors. It tracks you based off of it taking photos of your environment. I don't think VR is going anywhere. Combined though, there are reports that Oculus and Vive together have only sold 500,000 units, which is a very small market, and it's tough for developers to want to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars making a game that can only sell a max of 500,000.
Right.
So what PlayStation does here, I think, will have a big impact on how quickly it moves forward. But I don't think Facebook's not going to abandon Oculus. They have too much invested in it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
They showed some cool social stuff that they're doing. Obviously, Vive has, HTC Vive, Valve and HTC have money for days to throw at it. And PlayStation has, invested a ton in this. So I think it's going to stick around. I think you just have to wait for games that appeal to you to come out. But, I know you didn't like those other experiences, but I think if you had an hour with PlayStation VR, you would at least enjoy it.
Well, the problem is none of that stuff none of the games you've talked about. I mean, Job Simulator sounds fun, but it doesn't sound like anything that I feel like I have to play.
I didn't feel like I have to play it, but after playing it, now I do. Like, the idea of standing in an office and doing stuff, you're like, eh. And if you watch somebody play it, too, that's the one thing I would caution everybody is don't watch people play VR.
You have to do it yourself. I understand.
You don't
I get
that.
It.
So the PSVR has a social screen, which all VR should have. It lets you watch me play. It's also how you can play against people in VR on certain games. But if you're just standing in a room watching people play, it will ruin VR for you. Like, you have to be in that helmet. And I would say if you're just watching somebody and you're not actually playing with them, turn the TV off. The cool thing about VR is you can play it while someone else in the room watches TV. So you can have, you can be in the corner playing VR while someone else is watching TV. You don't have to have the TV on.
Right.
So that's really good too for split households or households that, you want to be in the same room as each other. Or maybe you only have one TV. But don't watch people play VR. Don't go to YouTube and watch VR stuff. You don't get it. It doesn't work that way. So, if you're interested in it, don't break it for yourself, because if you just watch somebody play any of these games, you're like, okay, it looks like a shitty PS4 game. But when you're there and you feel those actual space and you feel size and scale, like, it's totally different.
Fair enough. This has been our VR podcast.
Yeah, I think we've talked about it a lot leading up to.
Yeah.
But now actually getting hands-on with it, I feel like I really wanted to give people a big snapshot of what it is and how it felt. And I think you have to... This is very much like the NES of video games, though. Like, it's a good starting point.
Right.
And it's going to get better and better, but what they do from here is where VR is really going to take off, I think. When the PSVR 2 and when, maybe the Santa Cruz is the big deal. Maybe the idea that you could play it in the park or wherever, you just feel like fucking VR.
I kind of prefer the idea of standalone rather than all the adjustments that you're talking about having to do. Turns me off. It's not something I was excited about before, but you kind of talking about the adjustments and things like that, and the sweating, and even though they're only minor inconveniences, they have done nothing to sway me.
No, the sweating's a pretty large inconvenience. The adjustments, it's like 2 minutes tops.
Right.
So that's not a big deal. It's the same as switching the game out.
I understand it's a minor inconvenience, but it's not what I want out of my experience.
The sweating I don't care for. My house is cold all the time, so I still sweat, but it's also because there's a projector shooting, video at your eyes. It's a hot unit because it has to keep light out.
Right.
So, your face portion makes a lot of heat. The face part of a human is hot. So
the face part of a human
is hot. I don't know that that's avoidable, and not spending any time in those other things, those other experiences. But yeah, I think it's most closely compared to Vive and to Oculus. Samsung, the Gear VR and all those cell phones, Google Cardboard, the new one that's coming out for the Pixel phones, the Dream, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Dreamcatcher, I think. Like those are different experiences. Those are not the same. The cord is kind of a thing that can get in the way. I did have to put tape on my ground also for a point of reference because you get fucking turned around. So I did put a X on the ground so that I can feel with my feet where I am. There was a point last night where I was playing and I was like, this fucking piece of shit is not tracking me. And I take my headset off. Not only am I turned around backwards, but I'm all the way in the corner. I have no fucking clue how I got there because I didn't feel like I moved. So you do have to, you do need to be in an area that is clear. I have 10 feet of space with nothing around. So if that's what they suggest is a 10 by 10 space. So you just have to, you got to do some little things to help yourself out though. And I think a good, I went 5 feet away from my camera directly in front of it and put a tape X, and I try to find that, feel around and find that. Yeah, but sometimes you just get fucked up and you move around, you don't even realize it. Because you start turning little half circles here and then back the other way, and your camera's messed up, so you just reset it and you don't realize that you're not even looking at it, so it can't track you if it can't see you very well.
Right.
So a lot of times I would say if you're having issues with tracking, look at your room, look at how you're playing. It's probably not the camera, it's probably not the VR, it's probably you. So, yeah, I think buy both of those things. Buy VR, buy Tomb Raider, buy tape. Or use tape if you just have some. Most people have some. I use electrical tape. I feel like it is the shittiest of all tapes if you want it to actually stick to something.
Yep, I feel that way.
Sticks to itself like a son of a bitch.
Yep, but that's it.
But that's
sticks to nothing else.
So, yeah, if you're ever trying to just piece two things together, electrical tape's never the tape of choice.
Never, ever.
But it works really well on the floor. You can feel it, and you can just literally at any point grab it and peel it right up.
And
no residue, no nothing.
And just a handy tip: plumber's tape is shit for actually sticking to.
Right. I feel like it gives that vibe though when you hold it.
When you hold it, yeah. There's no sticky to it. It's just.
But electrical tape feels like it's going to do something, and then it doesn't every fucking time it lets you down.
Fucking, that's right. It's the psychopath of tapes.
Yeah, because it's thick.
Fucking lies and manipulates the shit out of you.
It's really thick. It feels right. It's got a little stretch to it. It's sticky. It's clearly sticky. It locks together forever if it touches itself. Like, you just stretch them out and have to break it. But you put that thing on anything, it's totally worthless.
Useless, unless you can bring it back around or wrap around itself.
And then it's Gorilla Tape.
Yep.
As long as it touches itself.
And then it's probably never coming off.
Right, without tearing it.
Or cutting it, which means you're probably going to cut into the wire you tried to fucking protect in the first place.
I always think I'm stronger than I am with electrical tape, too. I always think I'll just tear it, no problem. It stretches like 6 feet.
Yep, I know exactly.
I've ruined the whole roll now.
Been there before.
But it works really good for placement on VR.
I think I'm going to do it doesn't have a lot of elasticity either, because once it's stretched, that's how it stays.
Done. Right? You just made a new tape, right? I do think I'm going to get a little more fancy with my tape job. I think I'm going to do something that gives me a little more idea left to right also. So I think I may do like maybe like a cube or something like that on the ground with some sort of marking where I know what is up and I know what is right, so I know the other side is automatically something else. Because moving outside that zone will break it. You have to take the headset off. You have to recenter yourself. You have to be in the view of that camera, and sometimes you just get a little excited in VR. It's a little excited. You fucking wander. Just wander all the way off. I do have a sectional couch, so that does a good job like containing the area for me.
It's like a fence.
Yeah, when you get all the way, you're like, what the fuck am I doing over here? You can also, at any given moment, you can hit a button and it pulls up the actual like view of what the camera sees. So you can recenter yourself. But again, that breaks it for you a little bit.
Right.
It's pulling you out.
Right.
So that's a smart way to do it. But there's also a part of me that thinks when that pulls up, someone's going to be standing behind me.
You're a little worried?
So I don't like to pull that camera up because the fear in VR is that you really don't know what's going on around you. But you pull it up and there's just some psychopath standing behind you with a knife. Like, that's not what you want to see. I just want them to get me. I don't want to know.
That's
the
fair.
headset, the headphones fit comfortably over the VR. The whole unit feels awesome on your head. Like, never am I like, this is heavy, it's bothering me. Like, it feels really, really good. So I don't, unless you just got a fucking watermelon, like, I think you're going to be pretty comfortable.
I think that's really important for VR too, is that all of that fits comfortably, because that will take you out probably quicker than anything else will, is if that doesn't fit right.
So I wear the headphones that you're wearing right now to record this podcast. That's what I use with it, because they do have to be wired. And they fit just as well as they fit you right now. They fit just like that with the VR. I didn't even have to change how wide they were or anything.
Oh, that's good.
Like, they just went right over it. They fit perfect. After 20 minutes, the first time I played, I never even thought about the headset again. Like, now I can pop it on and never even think about it. That first time I put it on, I was like, there's a thing on my face. But once you get over that, like, you never even think about it anymore. Like, you get in, you jump in, and you just forget. And I like it. I mean, I like that feeling.
Is that the only way you're going to play games from here on out?
Definitely not. I think it is a complimentary device.
Okay.
So I played Rocket League in the whatever the fuck they call it, the
cinematic mode or whatever.
Cinematic mode. And you feel like you're sitting pretty close to a 60-inch TV. I think it said 6 feet is what the feeling it gives you. So you're 6 feet away from a 60-inch TV. The cool thing is that the TV more or less is stuck to your face versus you looking left and not seeing the TV anymore. It just like moves your whole fucking TV. Mm-hmm. So when you move, you can do a little right to left to kind of see the whole screen, a little up to down. But if you move drastically, the whole thing kind of moves.
Okay.
Which is kind of nice. But again, because it's so big, you get some of that blur on the outside edges. I played one game of Rocket League. I had 5 goals in it. I mean, apparently it didn't affect me too much.
Okay.
What I found the most jarring is to get out of VR and play on the regular TV right after. There probably needs to be some sort of cool down.
Your brain hasn't readjusted to real life
I never
yet.
could get my eyes right after I did that. But I've played regular since without VR and been totally fine.
Right.
It's just going immediately from VR to non-VR I thought was very jarring.
Okay. So,
a couple stories we're going to touch on unless you have anything else with VR.
No, buy. Apparently, you need to buy Rise of the Tomb Raider and buy VR.
Yeah. If you have the money and you have a...
Nah, steal it. Fuck it.
If you have the money and you want to play VR, like, I don't think you have to rush out and buy it. I don't think it's one of those things.
Okay.
But like I said, I don't think in 6 months it's going to be any cheaper. But I don't think you'll be disappointed when you do buy it. But don't feel like it's something you have to have, because it just expands what your PS4 does.
It's like an expansion to your experience.
And I don't think VR is going anywhere. So if you don't get it now, like, it's going to be around, I think. I mean, I'm no part of me is disappointed, but it is worth pointing out I did get my headset for free.
Right.
From Taco Bell. It didn't change how I feel about anything. I wouldn't feel any more different if I'd spent $500 on this, but I do want to point out that I didn't pay for it. Still trying to win another one too.
Of course you are.
Still trying every day.
Of course you are.
Well, our friend Gerald let me know after I'd eaten unhealthy amounts of Taco Bell that you didn't actually have to eat there. There's an online code that you could just enter every day.
Oh.
It's the same code every day, so all you do is text it every day to them. Which is a real asshole move after I'd eaten that much Taco Bell.
He waited? Did he know?
He had been doing it the whole time.
Oh. I love Gerald. That's so awesome. No wonder your face was sweating.
Right. I had to blimp it up for Taco Bell. I will say, if you got a skinny, bony face, it may be actually harder to get a good
seal,
total block out of light. But if you got any kind of cheeks on you, it does a pretty awesome job.
So I might have a tough time.
Totally can wear my glasses. No issue. The lens they don't touch them. Nothing hits them. Like, I mean, your glasses are just floating in there, and that feels good. And I've heard it is the best headset to wear your glasses in. But they really designed it knowing that people wear glasses. It feels so good on that. I'm telling you, you don't even feel this thing. Other than the fucking face sweat. A couple quick stories. Once again, Microsoft has outsold Sony for the month of September. So it's 3 months in a row.
3 months in a row, yeah.
Good on them. I think the One S is a big part of this. They have some awesome bundles coming out. Gears of War is right here. Mm-hmm. They're making big moves. My favorite part of this whole thing, though, was a tweet by the marketing executive, Aaron Greenberg. Here's his tweet. So grateful to everyone who helped get us back on top.
Hashtag
don't call it a comeback.
You can never go wrong with some LL Cool J.
So I love that. It's like maybe a touch arrogant, but it's not. Maybe a touch cocky, but it's not arrogant. Like, it's funny.
It is funny.
you know, they're proud of themselves for getting it back on track, and they should be, because they were getting destroyed. You know, both these systems are well outpacing their, you know, last generation, so they've been successful no matter what. But just, I like that they can almost poke fun at it, like they understand they're like getting themselves back at it. He also sent out a second tweet which contained only hashtags, and that was hashtag momentum, hashtag Xbox One S. So I feel like that kind of sums it up.
Yes.
Like they know they made a good decision here. The Pro is not going to perform as well for Sony, but Pro and the VR, and this is something we talked about before the podcast, but the VRs are available. Like, if you didn't pre-order one, you can go buy one.
They're in stores.
They're a GameStop and a Best Buy that had one. Sony has made the comment that, you know, they feel like you have to be able to get them for this to be successful, so they made more. And I think that's a good move. We talked about it, but I mean, you agree that's
Yes.
what you have to do.
Yeah, I mean, my reasoning behind that was VR is something that's going to hit super hard. If it's going to sell, it's going to be super hard between when it comes out and Christmas. And if you don't have those on shelves for people to get at that point, you have automatically, that's money you won't get back.
Right. That's what I think too. I mean, I think people are going to decide now whether or not they're buying it, and if they're buying it, it has to be available. So,
100% agreement.
We'll see. I don't know. You know, Sony's set low expectations. They said a couple 100,000 units is what they plan to sell. So, if that's true and that's actually what they plan to sell, I think they're going to get there. Zelda like Oceanhorn. So it's very much a Zelda clone. It's on PS4, Xbox One. It's also on PC, Mac, iOS. I think it's even on Android.
It's everywhere.
They've announced it's coming to the Wii U. And I think maybe even 3DS. Oh, excuse me, it's not on Android. But I think they're referring that it's going to come out for the NX, not for the Wii U. It's very cool. If you haven't watched any videos on it, check it out. It looks like Zelda if it was made now, but not in a 3D Dot Heroes way. I mean, it's very polished looking and cartoony and fun. It has a Wind Waker vibe,
right? But
an old school Zelda. There is sailing. It's a cool looking game, but it sold 1 million copies.
That's a lot.
It is a lot, and it should show Nintendo what people want.
Well,
you know, people want that.
You're right. It should. It should. That doesn't mean it will, but it doesn't mean it should.
It won't. 100% won't. But it should. Because I, you know, 1 million copies is nothing to sneeze at. There are a lot of big games that can't eclipse that.
That don't hit 1 million, yeah.
Right. So it's nothing to sneeze at for sure. But I think, I don't know. Nintendo's probably never going to get it. It's probably safe to say they're never going to get it.
They're just too busy being Nintendo.
Yeah. Which I don't understand. I just don't get it.
They're Nintendo. There's nothing to understand. He used to be such a nice boy.
I just don't. It's weird. It's like they get it,
but they don't care. They can't do anything about it.
Grasp it.
It's like, oh, our hands are tied. No, they're fucking not. Just do this.
It's like they get it. They really get it, but they really don't.
I'll tell you what Nintendo's the masters of is talking a big game with no follow through.
They get so close though. Like it's like, oh, I can tell that you got it. I can't tell why you didn't do it. So it's really irritating. That's really all we have for headlines. We looked around. We didn't see anything that we wanted to talk about.
Nope.
Just a couple quick ones. We'll make sure we get a question out this week to you guys. Probably going to ask what games you're excited for. We got a lot coming out. Yeah, I got a lot coming out. So probably what's the game you're most excited about that's coming out the rest of this year? Something along those lines. Because I'd like to talk about what we're looking forward to.
Yes, so get thinking about it.
Yeah, start thinking about it. We did get an email from our buddy Garrett about the trucker terms. It seems we were correct with most of them.
Yeah, we were pretty close for a bunch of non-trucking dudes, huh?
Yeah, there's not as many fancy nicknames as one would have hoped.
No, I feel like
sleeper is just a sleeper.
I feel like I watched Smokey and the Bandit and Black Dog too much because I know all that stuff.
But he did hit us with the OTR, the over the road.
Oh, I knew that one.
I knew it, but I didn't think about it when we were talking. And
not to be confused with OTB. That's off track betting. That's different.
Right. It is off track betting, which is also something people do.
It is. That's true.
I would wager that some.
See,
you like that? I would wager that some truckers also do
some
off-track
OTRs,
betting.
also OTB.
Yeah, I would wager that would be the case. So thanks for that. If I'll tell you what, that's an interesting career.
It is.
I'm fascinated by it. He talked about the difficulty of being like a team driver and trying to like trust in that someone else won't kill you while you're sleeping.
Which I completely understand.
Yeah, that's such a weird thing to think about.
Because I have complete trust in my wife, and sometimes I wonder how the hell I woke up in the morning.
Right. So can you imagine just sleeping while they're driving a gazillion pound like rocket ship down the interstate?
Right.
That's got to be weird.
And how hard is it to... Yeah, because, I mean, imagine if it's like with a cab. I'm sure there's a cab in the back, because if you're your team, you're just one's sleeping, one's driving.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being the guy trying to sleep in the back, and you're just like, what is happening up there right now, though? I can't see what's going on. I barely know this person.
But you know you're moving.
That's all you know.
You feel you're moving. And probably everything is really, like, intensified by the fact that you can't see.
Right.
So you're like, whoa, and if you're up front, it probably would have been nothing. Yeah, it's bizarre. Very cool, though. Now it's time for my favorite segment, our newest segment, Gone But Not Forgotten. We reach back in our gaming past. We pull out an old gym for you. This one, not going to be a gym for you.
It's your turn.
It's not going to be a gym for you.
For me?
Yeah, you're not.
Or for the listeners.
Maybe they won't either. It's not very old either. My Gone But Not Forgotten is Luigi Mansion's Dark Moon for 3DS.
Oh my god. Yep, not for me. You're right.
The GameCube Luigi Mansion was awesome. This 3DS version, I thoroughly enjoyed. And I think you should too if you have a 3DS. So it's not old. Like I said, it came out in 2013. Obviously published by Nintendo, and they just expanded upon that idea of hunting ghosts in the dark, and it's fun. It's a good game.
Sometimes I feel like we should change the name of the segment to Gone and should be Left Forgotten.
I think you're jealous right now because you haven't played Luigi Mansion Dark Moon. I think that's what's happening.
Well, the good thing is you're allowed to think whatever you want.
It really is fun, and it's hard.
Luigi's Mansion was a good time.
It's hard to get a fleshed out 3DS title. I feel like sometimes, but it's very polished. It felt good. If you have a 3DS, you probably already played it. But if you haven't, check it out because I really had fun with it, and it's one I was excited about for a long time. Fun fact, the very first game that I pre-ordered from BestBuy.com.
Really?
And had mailed to my house, the very first game. Very uncomfortable with it.
Yeah? Never did it again, did you?
Yeah, I've done it since, but that was in 2013. So the idea of not going to a store and holding it the day that it came out freaked me out.
Worried you a little bit.
Well, I think back then you didn't even get it the same day.
Oh,
so
really?
I don't think I got it till the next day. Yeah.
Oh, fuck that.
But I went to the store and they didn't have any more pre-orders at GameStop. They were out, and I went to Best Buy and they said you can't here, but you can pre-order it online. So I had to. Since then, I've totally comfortable with it. Amazon's the way to go because they'll have it to you same day.
Amazon is definitely the way to go if you're going to pre-order.
And then if you're a Prime member, you get 20% off of all new games. So that's also worth it. They also have Twitch Prime now. So if you're a Prime member, you also get one free subscription for Twitch that you can use, and you get ad-free Twitch now. So they're really making Prime worth it. You get the Prime movies, you get the Prime music. Like they're really making that worth it, even though it went up in price.
Yeah, I think once we move into the house, I think we're going to get that. I think we're going to stay completely away from cable.
Yeah,
and just get Netflix Prime and probably Hulu.
I mean, you'll totally pay for Prime just in the games that you buy.
I'm sure.
I mean, you're saving 20% off of everything that you buy. It adds up really quick when you're paying $48 per game.
Yep.
You're gonna get there quick, and you get everything same day it releases.
Yep. So
you also don't have to run by the store when you get off. It's just fucking at your house.
Which is pretty nice.
Pretty nice.
That is nice.
Pretty nice. Yeah. There's a part of me that's still scary though.
Yeah. Because what if it doesn't show up? What if something happens and it doesn't show up?
What if all my friends are enjoying it, but I didn't get it?
And I can't just because there was a mistake with the post office. It doesn't even need to be Amazon's fault.
Right.
What if it got delivered next door on accident? Because we know that happens.
What if the mail person just leaves it on the porch?
And it rains or
Somebody
snows.
steals it. They left the VR on the porch.
They did?
Signature required, left it on the porch.
Well, that's okay.
So yeah, if someone stole it, I could have got another one. It's not the fucking point. When would I have gotten another one?
Right.
What's that process like? Because I want one now. But yeah, it's there's a part of scariness when you order games
online,
new releases.
when you can't just go pick them up and take them and pay for them, and there it is. And because you know why? Because at that point, really, the only person you had to count on was you.
Yep. And I know that in that area, I won't let me down.
Right, exactly.
A lot of shortcomings, but that's not going to be one of them.
But all of a sudden, you put all these different middlemen in it, and you're like,
Yep.
Eesh, I've seen how this goes.
Yeah, you can't be trusted, right? I can be trusted. You can't be trusted. I have to have this today. I have tried to cool my jets with new releases, though. I don't have to have them that day.
Yeah, I'm not as bad about it either.
They
except
will
for
drop in
certain
price.
games, obviously.
Man, this Dragon Quest Builders is really just tearing me apart. I want that thing now. But I know that if I can just wait till Black Friday, they'll have a buy two, get one free.
At
Target always does,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. Make sure you follow us on the social medias. I am at Podcast Ryan. Dan is as Shirtless Dan. At Shirtless Dan. Sorry, I had a stroke. Went back to your old Twitter. I am at Podcast Ryan. You're at Shirtless Dan. Matt is cross country and it up is at Goddammit Matt.
Cross stating it up. I said don't give him any extra credit.
And if you want to hit us up all together, we are at game_Stitch. That's where the question of the week gets posted at. That's where you should hit us up with your GBNF, your Gone But Not Forgotten. But yeah, make sure you follow all of us so that you get a good idea of what we're doing. We end each and every show with a segment we like to call One Final Thing with Uncle Dan. This week, no different.
No different. So I was watching on the CW, the Supergirl TV show moved over to CW this year. And Superman's on it. So I watched it and I wanted to get an idea. And they actually do a really, really good job with Superman. The guy who plays him, I think it's Tyler Hoechlin, is a good Superman and he's a good Clark Kent. And the writers did a good job of not making sure that Superman doesn't overwhelm the Supergirl show. You know what I mean?
So I've watched all of until it moved to the CW, I've watched all of Supergirl.
Oh, you have?
Yes.
That doesn't even sound like you.
Yeah, it doesn't. That show is less superhero to me. Or it was at least, and more like...
Oh, it still is.
Yeah, she's Supergirl, but that's not what that show's about.
That show's about Kara Danvers.
Yeah. It's almost got like a Sex and the City vibe thing going.
I can kind
but
of
like
see
CBS-ified.
that. Yeah.
Like, take all the fun out of it. Like, it's kind of got that going on. With her just struggles to be like a normal person with a shitty job. And
right.
Like, I like.
And a
I don't
shitty
care.
boss.
Yeah, I don't care for the shitty CG of attacking shitty monsters. And but I really do like if they just made the show of her working, like, I think I would like that.
Yeah, you're the only one.
Yeah, I think I would like that.
Anyway, on to my... Just shut up.
I'm telling you, I'm not the only one.
Just stop. Anyway, on to my Gone But Not Forgotten. They did a good job of making sure that Superman doesn't overshadow her in her own show. He did a very good job of making him play a supporting role. However, every time that Supergirl turns into her Supergirl outfit, there's trouble and she has to, change. She's always in a house or in some sort of building, which is fine.
Right.
I get it. You throw your dirty clothes on the floor. I get that. So Superman is talking on the phone at a fucking intersection, in a crowded city intersection. He goes running down an alley. He throws off his tie, and the next thing you know, he's flying through this alley, which is a classic Superman we know. And it never occurred to me before, what the fuck does he do with his wallet and his car keys and shit? Because you can't just leave him there for some homeless person to grab up.
I mean, he's got to have ID on him.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, there's only a couple hiding spots in a suit that tight.
I don't feel like he takes, but you never like take time out to like remove his wallet, or maybe just carries a money clip, whatever. Even if it's just a money clip.
Maybe it's always just tucked away. Maybe
or
he
his
doesn't
car
keep
keys.
It.
What's he do with his car keys?
You
Or a cell phone.
If you fly, you probably don't need to drive.
Or a cell phone. Because he was talking on a cell phone and then he ran into the alley. What do you do with his cell phone?
It's a burner. He just tosses it.
Okay, but he's just a reporter, so where does he have this money to buy burners every day? Like 4 times a day, because you know he's doing that.
Maybe
he's just going through.
A little bit.
He's just going through clothes, just lean clothes in alleys.
Yeah, it is interesting. Like, where does he get money for new clothes? Because he doesn't dress, shabby.
No, he doesn't
He's
dress
a nice
outrageously good. But I mean, I can't.
He's a nice
afford,
dresser.
Yeah. I can't afford to go shopping at American Eagle every day.
If 4 times a day you were throwing all your clothes away,
right?
How quickly would you go broke? And you're also tossing burners.
Tossing burners. And maybe hiding your car keys in your boot or something. I don't know.
Your ass crack.
Whatever. I believe it's all one suit. I don't know that, though. Could be your ass crack.
So maybe he starts with them in his ass.
Nah, that's just weird.
He's like, man, I want a bagel, but it really isn't worth it.
Right.
To get these cards out.
Especially like money, ID, credit cards, something, because you can't just leave those in an alley and come back and get them later.
You think he calls American Express and they're like, really, again?
Right.
Really, Clark, again? Sorry. 3rd time today, though.
Right.
Like, it's becoming a bit much.
Starting to think you might be Superman.
Right. I'm not a detective, but it seems every time there's a major crime that Superman shows up at, you've lost your cards.
Right.
So, there's that. This has been episode 197 of the official Gamestitch Podcast. Thanks for joining us. If everything goes correctly with the cross-country hike, Matt will be back next week.
Cross-state. Cross-state. It's not cross-country.
Regardless, we'll be here. Keeping you warm, keeping the lights on.
Yeah. Lights on,
Thanks for joining us. Make sure you rate us on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spreaker, iHeart, TuneIn, wherever you listen. Subscribe, share, favorite, like, tell your friends about us, tell your non-friends about us. Tell your enemies about us.
Yeah.
If you have nemesis, let them know. Everyone should have a nemesis.
I so want a nemesis.
Everyone should have one.
Everyone should have a nemesis. Do you have a nemesis?
Not really.
I don't think I do either, but I want one.
I wish I did. The thing about nemesis is it only works if they understand also.
Right. You have to be their nemesis as well.
Right.
Otherwise,
there can't just be somebody you're like, man, I
stupid.
fucking hate that guy. Like, that
Right.
doesn't work. There has to be like an actual hatred between the two of you.
Right. It can't be like,
that's
I
consuming.
fucking hate that guy. And he's like, who are you?
Yeah. But it has to be consuming. Like, it has to be to the point where you're like,
All you can think about.
yeah, besting that guy is all you think about.
Yeah. Everything you do is just to be better than him.
Yeah, that sounds really good. I want a nemesis really bad.
I want one. The problem is that I don't know if I can live up to the standard I've set for myself.
I know I can. This has been episode 197. Good night.
Good night.